Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess and I got a haircut. It's quite the change and I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. I might actually do something different with my bangs, but I got a haircut. So my hair was like I don't know, it was pretty long, but either way, I cut it. It feels great to be able to like feel my neck again, but I actually wanted it to about here, and you can't really see because of the brown background, but it's to like here when it's curly. I have naturally curly hair. So yeah, so that's one thing. Today, first of all, we have a plumber here, and I feel like every time I record in here, there's something going on, but inside is worse. And the election results just came through this morning. Today is Saturday, and I'm gonna be posting on Saturday hopefully too. So the election results just came in, and so everyone in my neighborhood is honking and everything. So if you hear a bunch of stuff, that's probably why. So last week, not this last week, but the week before was Halloween, as you guys know, and I cannot say enough. Thank you so much for all of the support. Seriously, it means so much. I had so much fun doing it, but although it was a lot of fun, it was also kind of exhausting. So I'm a little tired this week. And in addition to that, of course, this week was the election, and I've just been watching the news nonstop, honestly, until last night I fell asleep to the news and I woke up this morning to it still playing, finding out that Biden won. I'm tired and I didn't want to not post a video today, but I thought that I would just post something that was a little bit more simple for me to do and for my mind to like be able to just like chill out for a second, because I feel like we've all just been going through so much this past week. So I hope you guys understand and that you guys still like this video. I know that a lot of you guys have found me through my true crime videos, and I personally watch a lot of true crime videos as well. Some of my favorite people to watch are like Bailey Sarian, Stephanie Sue, Bella Fiore, and of course Kendall Ray. One of my favorite things is like I get roped into these videos from the true crime that they talk about, but I really enjoy their personalities, and watching things like their vlogs and stuff like that I think is really interesting. And so I thought that I would give you guys a little bit more of like insight into who I am and what my life looks like. Obviously this is not a Q&A because I did not ask you guys to ask questions, and there's not enough people to ask questions, but if you guys do have any questions, feel free to like leave them down below. I can answer them. But I just thought that I would like kind of, rather than like answering questions, I would just kind of talk about a few things that, I don't know, that people might not know about me, I guess. So it's sort of like one of those assumption videos, except for you guys didn't assume anything. So let's go ahead and get started with the first one. I'm actually South American, so I speak Spanish fluently. I went to an all Spanish school from kindergarten through 8th grade. That gave me a lot of really cool opportunities. So for example, I got to go to England, France, and Spain when I was in 7th grade with my friends, which was so much fun. I have a couple of funny stories about that because I was in 7th grade and it was just like, I feel like we didn't super like understand this privilege that we had by getting a chance to go there. I was lucky enough to get a scholarship to go because my family wouldn't have been able to afford it. And me and my friend both got scholarships, but I went with a few of my friends, and it was seriously one of the most fun experiences of my life, and I was just like young and got to go, so that was cool. I also, you know, because I was learning Spanish, I learned it very fluently at a young age, so although I don't speak it nearly as much now, I often like trip up on words now, but I know enough of it that it's stuck with me. And my grandpa doesn't really speak English very well, so I still get a chance to communicate with people like him in my life, which I feel really lucky to do, because I know a lot of people have very broken conversations with their like grandparents and things like that, and it's sort of hard because you want to be able to ask questions and know where you come from, and I just think it's really cool to be able to talk with him essentially and just have conversation and talk like me and you could talk. If you notice in my true crime videos, I actually usually have a flag behind me. That's actually the flag from Uruguay, and in like American English you would say Uruguay. Very tiny country, but that's where my family is from. It's pretty funny because we're all very short. I'm 5'3" and I'm the like tallest person. My mom is 4'11" and my sister is 5'2", and I believe my grandpa's only 4'9", so we always joke around that our country is so small that we're all so small. And the flag is actually, my grandpa gave it to me as a gift. I can't remember, I think I was in like my 2nd year of college or something like that. I can't remember what the occasion was, but he gave it to me as a gift, and he actually brought it over in the 70s from Uruguay, and I have hung it up in my room ever since. It's just a cool reminder of like where I come from, and I will always be proud to live in this country. And I think that living in this country has given me so many opportunities that I would definitely not have if I lived anywhere else. But at the same time, I'm just so grateful to have the background that I have and get a chance to learn about my culture, and it's just a reminder for me. So yeah, you'll notice that in the background from now on, I'm sure. It usually cuts off the sun of May, but you can always look it up, or I'll put it here or something. But that's what's always in my room and in my backgrounds. I just think it's like a nice background too. I really like it. Yeah, and I went to an all Spanish school in San Diego. So I don't know if you guys ever had this, but like I remember growing up, like you think that your teachers live in the classroom. So we always thought that as well, but we also didn't know that our teachers spoke English at all. And I remember in like 2nd grade, one of our teachers yelled at us, but in English, because he was just like that upset with us. And we were all just like floored by the fact that he was speaking English, and we knew that he didn't get upset until he started speaking English. So we were always like, oh, don't make him speak English. And my family was in the mindset of like, you're in the US and you're going to learn English eventually, of course, so take Spanish classes from a very young age and you'll remember it your whole life. And I'm really grateful for that, honestly. We started English classes around 6th or 7th grade, so I spoke all Spanish before that, and all of our textbooks were exactly the same as the rest of the district, just in Spanish. The only thing that was difficult for us was like standardized testing, because that was like a California statewide thing, and so it was in English. So there was a few things I didn't understand. So for example, I remember on like a math test, it said to like draw a grid or something like that, and I didn't know what a grid was because I knew the word in Spanish but not in English. So little things like that, but those things we were allowed to ask because it was a language barrier thing, not about our math skills. So yeah, that's how I grew up, and I actually am Hispanic. With that being said, I did grow up in San Diego, and for college I actually went to the University of Washington, but it was on a total whim. So I applied to a bunch of schools, of course. I got into a few, and one of the ones that I was going to go to was UCI in Irvine. And it's kind of funny because now a lot of my friends and my boyfriend all are alum from UCI, so it's just like these are the people that I could have met when I was in school, and so I always wonder like what could have happened basically. But I initially wanted to go to school for computer science and chemistry, which was like a huge combination. And so one of the top computer science schools was University of Washington in Seattle. And I remember it asked like for the essays, and I like flipped the essays that I wrote, because for like the UC schools, they're all exactly the same. And my essays didn't fit exactly with what they were asking at UW. And I was just like, that's fine, I'm just gonna apply to it. I applied like on the deadline day, and I got in somehow, and I got directly admitted to the computer science program, which was very difficult to do. And I was really excited, and my first year was just full of lots of hard technical classes, like CS classes, math classes, and my spring quarter I ended up taking sculpture, which I've mentioned in another video before, and that's when I just sort of fell in love with ceramics. I had taken ceramics classes for 2 years, I believe, in high school, so I already knew that I really enjoyed it, but I didn't realize that it was something that I could do full time. So it's what I ended up switching to ultimately. I ended up being a ceramicist in school, and I still would not trade my experience in school for the life of me. Sometimes I wish that, you know, I would have been a little bit smarter with my degree, but overall, I'm just really thankful that I got to take the classes that I did, even if sometimes those experiences weren't the best. And if you're interested in learning more about that, I did do a whole video on my experience in art school, so I highly recommend checking that out as well. But that was my schooling. So I ended up going to UW. I graduated in 3.5 years, I believe. So I started in September of 2017, and I graduated, no, that's not right. I started in September of 2013, and I graduated in March of 2017. So you can do the math if you want. One of the things that I got to do because I was at school was, and I mentioned this again in another video, I even made a video like a really long time ago about how I had the chance to do this, but I got to travel while I was in school. And what I did was I studied abroad for 3 months, and then I came back for Christmas and went back, and I actually took online classes and continued to travel around for a few more months. And it is still probably #1 experience that I ever got to do. The difference with like my 7th grade trip versus this other trip was that I was an adult this time. I actually remember a lot of it, where I don't remember a lot of my 7th grade trip. When we were going around to different places while I was in college, I would like walk past places and be like, oh my gosh, I remember this. But the like most of that, besides the first 3 months, most of it was actually in Eastern Europe. So a lot of the experience that I had was going around like the Balkan area, and I don't think I would have ever chosen that as a place to go to, but I'm so thankful that I did. I got to go snowboarding in Romania. I got to explore like the sea in Bulgaria. I got to go to Croatia, which was really beautiful. I got to meet my friend's family in Serbia, and there were just so many cool experiences that I wouldn't have been able to have without going there. So I even remember that I was there. I was in Bosnia when David Bowie died, and the guy that owned the hostel was like so broken up about it, and I just remember him like holding his hands like this, and he was this like bigger guy and just being like, today something tragic has happened. And I remember me and my friend were just like, oh my god, what's going on? And yeah, that was when David Bowie died. That was also the year that Trump got elected, and I had no idea until I was walking around and someone just kept yelling, "You're fired," at us, and I was like, what's going on? And he was like, "You're president," and I was like, what? And they told us that Trump had been elected. So that's how I found out. I would just say that those experiences were some of the best for me. They were the craziest experiences, and there have been so many amazing experiences since then, but I'm just grateful that I had the chance to see some of these countries that I would have never had on the top of my list, basically. So hopefully I get to do more traveling soon as well. I have asthma, so it's nothing like wild. I have exercise-induced asthma, and so that means that I have to, or my asthma flare-ups come up when I go on, or when I exercise. So if I go on runs, which I really enjoy, I just have to take my inhaler. I have it very well controlled. I was born with it, so I've always learned how to manage it. Something else that I think is interesting is I actually met my boyfriend on Tinder. It's kind of funny that the way we met, honestly, because I remember I used to dog sit a lot, so I was dog sitting, and my friend was, I don't remember if she was living in no, she was living in Los Angeles at the time, and I was living in Orange County, and I moved several times throughout like I think it was like 5 or 6 times throughout 2 years. It was so insane. But at this point in my life, I was living in Orange County, and she was living in Los Angeles, and I was dog sitting, which I was doing quite often. And so she came down to the house, and we decided to make each other Tinder accounts. So I was making hers and she was making mine. And we like switched phones, and we were swiping on people for the other person. So she's actually the one who swiped on my boyfriend. He sent me the funniest message on Tinder, and I was like, this is so wild. Like, most people are just like, hey, or hey, let's grab a drink, or they talk about like the way that you look or something. But his message was just so funny, and now talking to him, it's like hilarious to talk about. My friend, she's one of my best friends, and she was like, you gotta answer this guy, he's hilarious. And so I ended up answering him, and turns out he is hilarious, and he's like, I don't know, the funniest guy ever. So you'll see me post about him on Instagram from time to time if you follow me on Instagram. I don't really talk about him too much on here just because it's my choice to be on here, but not, you know, he's not the one on here with me. So, you know, I want to give him a little bit of his own privacy and choose when to come on camera and not. But I just think it's really funny that like I wasn't even the one to swipe on him. Of course I was the one talking to him. So that's, you know, that was all real for us. But yeah, so I met my boyfriend on Tinder. and a little bit into like my day-to-day life as like I don't know how long this video is going honestly, but I don't want to make this too long. I used to work as a program manager for an online school. I basically was working still like in the tech area even though I had graduated in the arts, and I really loved my job. I felt like I was really doing good for others, and unfortunately because of COVID I did get furloughed, not laid off, but some situations happened at the company and I can't remember if I've talked about them in the past, but I'm just not going to talk about it now. One day maybe I will, but regardless, I just didn't like the way that they treated a lot of their employees. And I ended up finding a job, and now I'm working in marketing of all things. So I was always interested in marketing and I thought that it would be a really cool field to try out, but and I know a lot about it because I had to do it a lot for my program management position at my old company, but it's just like an interesting change of pace. I always felt a little like, I don't know, am I really gonna get a chance to do this and that kind of stuff. But it's so cool to see that sometimes people are willing to bet on you, and I felt really grateful that this company has taken me in. So yeah, now I'm working in marketing, social media marketing and email marketing, things like that. It's a lot of technical stuff that's not all that interesting, so I'm not going to talk too much about it, but that's where I'm at now. That's sort of all I had prepared because I didn't want to make this a crazy long thing. But if you guys have anything that you've been curious about or wondering, or I don't know, you guys can feel free to leave them in the comments below. I'll just answer them in the comments unless there's like an overwhelming amount for whatever reason, which I doubt there will be, but if there is, then cool, I'll make another video, and if not, I'll just answer them in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was like just a little bit more chill, and like I just want to like talk, just hang out for a second. I feel really tired. I don't know if you guys feel that same way. Also, I feel like I look like more adult with this haircut. Like, I don't know, I feel so strange. Oh, and I also wanted to say thank you so much for any recommendations you guys have been giving me in the comment section of the true crime videos. I am seeing them all and writing them down and trying to see where they fit in. I don't want to put them all the way at the bottom of the list. I want to try to fit them in earlier on so that I can give you guys content that you're excited about. Stay tuned for all of those. If you haven't already, definitely subscribe, and feel free to follow me on Instagram as well. It's just at Jessica Capó. Oh, that's another fun fact. Okay, last thing. I will wrap it up at this one. Every single person in my family has a different last name. So I'm actually the only one with my last name. You pronounce it Capó or Capó, and there is an accent on it, so oftentimes people will misspeak and think that it is pronounced sort of like a guitar capo. It's spelled the same except for the O has an accent, so it's Capó in English, and it is my great-grandmother's last name, I believe. So my mom's grandma's last name. So myself, my dad, my sister, my mom, and my grandpa, we all have different last names. I don't know my grandma, but I know she also has a different last name, and yeah, we all have different last names. It's very interesting. So okay, that's the last one. I'm done for the day. Follow me on Instagram and subscribe and do all of those things, and I hope you guys are really enjoying the weekend so far and have a chance to just like relax and de-stress. Hope you have a good weekend, and I'll see you on Tuesday. Bye.